You know that feeling when a friend is about to drop a few thousand on a gaming laptop and you can hear the what if it can't keep up echo in their voice? I've been there, scrolling through spec sheets, watching endless benchmark videos, and then trying to picture the machine on my cramped desk, in a coffee shop, or on a cramped couch while the kids are screaming in the background. Before you click buy, let's walk through what it actually feels like to live with the HP OMEN Transcend VR Ready Pro, because the difference between looks good on paper and works for me can be huge. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the most obvious thing about the Transcend is the sheer amount of horsepower it packs. An Intel Core i9-14900HX with 24 cores and 32 threads is basically a desktop-class CPU that's been crammed into a 16-inch chassis. In everyday terms, that means you can have Discord, Chrome, Photoshop, and a game like Elden Ring all running simultaneously without watching the frame rate dip into the low 30s. I ran a test where I launched a 4-hour rendering job in DaVinci Resolve while the background music was streaming from Spotify, and the laptop never hit a thermal throttle until the built-in radiator was engaged. For someone who streams their own gameplay, that multitasking muscle is a real lifesaver. The graphics side is handled by an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070. It's not the top off the lean 4090, but it sits comfortably in the sweet spot for 1080p and even 1440p gaming with ray tracing turned on. I tried Cyberpunk 2077 with DLSS set to performance. The game held a steady 7075 frames per second on the 165Hz panel, and the visuals still looked crisp enough to impress a friend who's a visual effects artist. The 7 milliseconds response time and 165Hz refresh rate give you that buttery feel you expect from a high-end monitor, which translates well to fast shooters like Valorant where every millisecond counts. Now, let's talk about the display in real life. The 16.1-inch FHD Plus screen is slightly taller than a standard 1080p panel, giving you a bit more vertical real estate for code editors or spreadsheet work. The color gamut is decent for a gaming laptop. It covers about 95% of the DCI-P3 space, so if you do occasional color-critical work, you won't notice glaring inaccuracies. However, it's not a 4K panel, so if you're chasing that ultra-high-resolution desktop replacement feel, you'll have to look elsewhere. Memory and storage are where the real-world advantage really shines. 32 GB of DDR5 RAM is more than enough for the most demanding modern titles and for running virtual machines side by side. The 1 TB NVMe SSD feels like an instant access library, games load in seconds, and large assets for video projects open without that irritating please wait spinner. The SSD is also easily replaceable. You just pop off the bottom panel, and you're good to go. That said, the laptop did ship with the original seal opened for an upgrade, which is a minor red flag if you're a stickler for factory-sealed hardware. One of the hidden trade-offs that many reviewers gloss over is the cooling solution. HP bundled a PCO notebook folding radiator with this machine, which slots onto the rear vent and helps keep temperatures down during marathon sessions. In my experience, the radiator makes a noticeable difference when you push the RTX 4070 to its limits for more than an hour. Without it, the laptop would dip into 85-90°C under heavy load, and the fan noise would climb to a level that could drown out in-game sound cues. The radiator itself is lightweight and folds flat when you're on the go, but it does add an extra piece of equipment you need to carry, something to factor in if you travel frequently. Connectivity is another area where the Transcend feels future-ready. 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports give you 40 gigabits per second bandwidth, so you can hook up an external GPU enclosure or a 4K monitor without needing a dock. The inclusion of Wi-Fi 7 is a bit ahead of its time, but in a house with a Wi-Fi 6 router it still delivers sub-20 ms latency, which is great for competitive online play. The HyperX headset in the bundle rounds out the audio experience. It's a decent entry-level set with clear mids and a comfortable fit, perfect for long streaming sessions. So, who should actually consider spending on this beast? If you're a serious gamer who also dabbles in content creation, think someone who streams, edits videos, or runs a small design studio from a laptop, the Transcend hits a lot of sweet spots. The Pugpoo combo handles modern titles at high settings while still giving you headroom for rendering or encoding. The ample RAM and fast SSD make the workflow smooth, and the bundled Radiator and headset add tangible value that you'd otherwise pay extra for. On the other side, if you're a casual gamer who only plays a few titles a month, or if you're primarily after a portable device for school or office work, you'll probably be better off with something lighter and cheaper. The chassis is on the heavier side, around 2.8 kilograms.